Hello, I'd like to tell you a story. This is a story about someone who had the most amazing day. It was the day that he met Jesus. The person I'm going to tell you about is a man called Zacchaeus. That's a strange name. I've met Marks and Malcolms and Marcuses and Zacks and Zekes and Zacharys, but I've never met a Zacchaeus. Anyway, this is his story. There are a couple of things you need to know about Zacchaeus. One is that he was very, very small. Alright, I'm not sure if he was quite that small, but he was certainly the smallest man in his town. Now, that wasn't anything he could do anything about, and unfortunately some people in his town weren't very kind to him because of that. That was a shame, because it's a bad idea to pick on anybody just because they look different to us or seem different to us. So that was silly. The other thing that you need to know about Zacchaeus that's important for this story is that he had loads and loads and loads of money. Great big piles of it. Unfortunately, he had it because he had taken it from other people. You see, his job was to work for the government to collect taxes, and he always took a bit more than he was meant to, so that Zacchaeus got rich. Here's how it worked. Somebody would come along and hold out their hand with money, and Zacchaeus would say, "You owe £10, please." And they would start counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that over there? I don't know. 4, 5, 6, 7. What was that just flew past? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he ended up taking other people's money. And they knew it. And I'm afraid they really didn't like him for it. And that made his life pretty difficult. Zacchaeus wasn't just the smallest man in town, he was also the most unpopular. Then one day, word started to come round the town. Everybody was excited. They'd all heard the same thing. They'd heard that Jesus was coming to their town. People had heard all the things he'd done in other places. Helping sick people, telling stories, teaching people all about God, making a big difference, helping people who were sad or having a hard time. And Zacchaeus thought, I would really like to see him. But of course there was a problem. Because he was the sort of person who took everybody's money, nobody wanted him around. And because he was the smallest person in town, it was easy for people to push him around or elbow him out of the way or make his life difficult. So here's what he thought of, and here's how he decided to solve his problem. He tried his very best to see, but nobody would let him through. People kept bumping him out of the way and they wouldn't let him squeeze in, and even though he was small, he couldn't get to the front. But then he had a brilliant plan. He decided that he would run on ahead of the crowd. And this is what happened. He ran on ahead and he climbed up into the branches of the very tallest tree he could find. And he waited until Jesus came along. He thought, I can watch from here, I can see everything, and nobody can see me. But then Jesus arrived. And when he got to the tree Zacchaeus was hiding in, he looked straight up and said, Zacchaeus, you need to come down because I'm coming to your house for tea. Zacchaeus was amazed, but he climbed down his tree, and as quickly as he could, he took Jesus to his house to have a meal. Everybody else was grumpy. Why is he going with him? Does he not know that he's horrible? Nobody likes Zacchaeus. When they got there, Zacchaeus thought for a while about how life had been. And he said, look, I think I'm going to give back all the money that I've cheated people of lots of times over. And I'm going to give half of everything I've got to the poor people in this town, because I realise I haven't been a very nice guy. And Jesus said, this is a place where change has happened today. Zacchaeus, you and all your house are welcome because you're new people. Thanks for listening.